Today I want to talk to you about resisting coaching, and I got to be a little bit quiet because these guys back here are working, and I don't want to make too much noise and distract them. But it's interesting to me to see how people resist coaching, why they resist coaching, why people want to make things a challenge. And so it's really cool to be able to be here in an actual dental office where we get to chat with you about some of these challenges, because we all face it. We absolutely all face it. Whether we're working here in the operatory, whether we're just up front, it's always an issue. And our mindset is so resistant to change. In fact, I just was reading something about this recently, and I wish I could come up with a term, and I'm sure it'll come to me in a moment. But there's this book that was just written called The 5-Second Rule. And it's how we are resistant to make changes. And the whole concept of this book, and it's a bestseller, is that anytime you're struggling to want to make a change, there's some fear, there's something that's holding you back. It's what holds patients back from accepting treatment as well. So imagine if all of a sudden, the minute you see something holding you back, tugging at your heartstrings, you quickly think, what is it I'm afraid of? Why am I afraid to jump into this scenario? And then you count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you just go. What I find and what I've heard upon research relative to this is that it's an absolute game changer. Because what happens when you start counting down is you don't give yourself the time to freak out about it, to make the adjustment that you want to make. And what often happens with all of us is the more we lament on this challenge, the more we spin it up in our heads, the bigger the problem gets to be, bigger than it's ever been. And it's usually false. So if we can all of a sudden have this attitude of the 5-second rule, of just counting down and then just going for it, you'll be amazed to see how it'll change your life. Because there's something holding you back, usually something relatively small, but it feels huge, right? Imagine, take marriage as an example. You run into a marital issue and you don't want to make the change that's going on. The reason why you don't want to make the change is because you're afraid to be vulnerable, you're afraid to be wrong, you're afraid of whatever it is. What good is it doing you? Because you're the one that's living in hell because of it. Your other partner, your significant other, might not have any idea, or they might not be carrying any stress relative to it. We all face that example, at least any of us in relationships. How often are we afraid to share our thoughts, to come out with it and say, this is what my concern is. So if I can just count backwards and just go for it and just share it, I'm certain connection will come out of it. But think about a patient. Let's take it from a patient's perspective. You just gave me this treatment plan. It's $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000, and I'm afraid to do it, and I don't know. I'm not sure about the economics, and you're telling me I'm going to look better, and I have questions, so many questions. This is what they're thinking. I mean, they're literally stuttering just like I am right now. Imagine if this patient was coached to just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, let's do it. Knock it out. Let's finish it. I'll be happy. I know I will. Because think about how many times we've ever done something afterwards, and we're so glad we did. Cheesy example I'll give you. When we lived in Ohio and we're moving away, through the process of selling our home, they come to us and like, you got to put a new garbage disposal in. So we get a new garbage disposal, and this thing's like whisper quiet. We're like, oh my Lord, why in the world did we not do this years ago? We've hated this thing and didn't realize it was going to cost us $50 to have our sanity. It was just stupid, and we could have enjoyed it. How often do we procrastinate, put things off, miss out the opportunity of enjoyment of a quiet garbage disposal, of a better marriage, of better oral health, of a happier team environment, of more economic freedom because you busted your butt in your office and you played full out in the office versus what you normally do? We're often resistant to coaching because we're just not sure what to do, and there's some small fear holding us back. And sometimes we bust through it and we have breakthrough, transformative breakthrough in our lives. And other times we hold back. And sometimes we lose our job as a result of it. Sometimes we quit. Sometimes we become dissatisfied. Sometimes it just stews and gets worse. And how often could we change that if we just broke through, if we just counted down and we went for it? So my challenge to you, if you're feeling resistant to coaching, is to first talk it out. Try and understand why you're being resistant. Talk to your coach and say, hey, I'm having a hard time with this. Help me understand, please, can you? Let them help you. And then after that conversation, count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go for it. Just do it. It'll change your life, I'm certain. I'm certain you'll enjoy it better. You know what's interesting is sometimes when we do make changes, sometimes we regret them, no doubt, can't deny it. But so many times we end up glad that we did. And if you ever talk to someone who's on their deathbed about their life and the things that they regret, do you know what it often is? It's not the things that they tried that went wrong that they regret. It's the things that they never tried. It's the fears that held them back from doing something different, from making a change, from changing their own life. How many of us have lived a life that way ourselves? Perhaps for a long, long time. My encouragement to you is to try it. Go for it. See what happens. I think you're going to be shocked at how awesome it is. So that being said, I hope I was quiet enough for these guys working back here, but it's probably time for me to step out and get back to work. You know, I'm supposed to be here working, doing stuff. So thank you so much for joining me today in the dental office, and thank you for the office for hosting, and I hope you guys all have an awesome week. I can't wait to see you 8 o'clock Mountain, 10 o'clock on the East Coast. Until then, have a great day.
What if you could have the practice of your dreams? What's holding you back? Imagine a life where you have everything you ever wanted.